Lovely big tree with a great big fungi on it. Lovely big tree. Hi, big tree. Saying goodbye to Higher Pits Farm now, where I came across the grave of the lovely lady I used to know, not really well, but I used to pass through, and they always had a smile, and the dog always followed me, and they would wait till I left. The dog would sit and watch till I've never forgotten that experience. In fact, I've probably got that experience on a video, right? It might be called the Ebbor Gorge video, it might be called Wells Cheddar, but somewhere I will have that mentioned about that dog and that lady. Right over there is Glastonbury. Can't quite see it properly, but it's there. And then right down over there is Wells and the cathedral, which you still can't see either. Quite often on planet A, I would have been coming across a field here and cutting the farm out, which is why I didn't do that all the time. I didn't see them all the time. But the last time I did it, I remember there was no dog and there was no lady. And that was a couple of years ago, so maybe she was ill. I see they put fencing up because, to tell you the truth, this field is usually filled with cows and a bull. They have warnings on the gate usually here, so I'm glad to see that they've put some fencing up. But I would have thought the herd have been taken in now. But no, somebody must have said, can you put fencing, you know, because with a bull, because this is a well-trodden route. Because it doesn't just go where I've been, it carries on over. You know, you're going that way. And yeah, so that's new as well, the fencing. So every time I come, I spot something slightly different. That was a sad but pleasant surprise to see the grave. To see the grave of this lady. Now I know she's there. You know, it's like somebody I met in my life, you know, and she's dead now, but I know where her grave is. I've never really had that experience before. There was an incident once a long time ago when I was 2014. I was in Cumbria and I was climbing the Melmoby Fells, and I came across this big, large wooden cross with a plaque on it of a local woman. And it actually, when I got down to the graveyard, I actually found her grave, and I told my friend Eileen about her, and she knew her. And I said, oh, she had a big cross right on the fells. I can see you, pheasant. What are you doing? You stuck? Eh? There's a pheasant in there, look, he's stuck. Oh, you'll get out. There you go. He was hiding from me. God, I am glad that they put a bit of fencing up, because do you know what? A lot of the time when I used to be worried about doing that bit, it's usually in the summer, by the way, was because the bull and the herd here and calves. I mean, they might take it down again for the winter, but I hope they do it again. They put the fence up because it is such a popular walk, this area, and it also protects the rest of their land from people roaming all over it, you know. Who's following me then? It's not very good, the camera. I'm not the BBC. I don't get loads of people. I know some people who've done identical walks to me, who've never done them before, then they'll probably never do them again, and they get like 9k visits in a week. And I thought, well, what's wrong with mine? Why don't I get that? But it's just like Zara said, Mum, some people pay to have their videos boosted. I said, you can do that. I said, oh, I can't be bothered. I said, I use it as storage, and for people who are interested, like my subscribers, you know, at least you can keep, you know, you've got so many subscribers. They're gradually increasing, and so Some people have been following me for years. I've got some stars that follow me. Or celebrities, you know, well-known people. Keanu Reeves, he's one. He follows me. I like him as well. He's a nice. I thought, well, he would have been a nice sort of younger brother. Or I don't even know how old he is. I always wanted a brother, you know. Did you? Yeah, I never had one. Oh, I didn't really know my dad much, but I mean, I did in the end. But yeah, I did have contact with my dad, but not on a family basis because he left when I was 2.5. He got kicked out. He was violent. He was disturbed by World War II. You know, my mum couldn't handle him. He had to be locked up by the police a few times. You know, overnight to protect her. Yeah, he didn't get over the war or the killing. But of course, a lot of blokes did take it out on their wives, you see. Anyway, that's another story. I've not held that against him because I was the one who spent most of the time with him. My other sisters, the older ones, they wouldn't have anything to do with him whatsoever because they'd experienced his violent behaviour and his cruelty, apparently. But I never saw that side of him. We had a different bond, me and him. Wish he was still there. Because I'd like to ask him more about the war. Was he a prisoner of war by the Italians? I mean, I still got to get his record properly. Was he the original English patient? He was good looking, my dad. Yeah. They were such a smart couple, my parents, you know. My mum always looked smart when she went shopping. She was not... Okay, people look a bit scruffy when they're doing the housework, you know. But she used to wear a turban and her apron. All women did when they were doing their housework. That's what they did. But when she went out, she always never overdid it with the makeup. And she used to put her earrings in, a necklace, a lovely little hat. She had lovely clothes, my mother. And I've only ever seen this picture once. My sister Barbara's got it, of my parents. When they were both in their early 20s and they'd married. And he was in a pinstripe suit. This is the 30s, remember. He was in a pinstripe suit. I can't remember if he had a hat on. And my mum was really 1920s, 30s style. Elegant, you know. Oh, God, they were so good looking, my parents. I've been trying to get that photo off them for ages. And every time I ask, there's always an excuse. I've had the same problem with a photo that I've only ever seen once of my great-grandmother, Mary Ann Oak Brooks, and what I would do to have that photo. But once again, held to ransom. I don't know why I have this effect on people. Do you know what I mean? I don't know what it is. I'm quite happy to share my stuff. Because they know it's an important photo. It is really Mary Ann Oak Brooks. And I've got a picture of her sister. But I've got this lovely picture of Mary Ann Oak Brooks, who looks a very strong, commanding woman, believe me. With her, but they used to wear furs in those days, you see. She did look good. I'd love to I don't think I'll ever get that photo. I was shown it once. If I'd thought of it, I would have taken a picture of it. That would have been better than nothing. And they seem to have misplaced that one, because they sent me a load, but that one was missing. And that was like such an important photo as far as I'm concerned, because Mary Ann Oak Brooks, my great-grandmother, is a gatekeeper in my tree. It's via Mary Ann Oak Brooks that we've been able to go back such a long way. She opened up windows, connections. We found our connections through her back in time. She's a gatekeeper. Now, you see her husband, Arthur Frederick Steib, he would be a gatekeeper, going back through the German line eventually. But I haven't pursued that. I'm hoping somebody else will do that, but I've done as much as I can back to 1708. when the German Palatines came to England. It's a bit like an influx when the Huguenots came. You had the Palatines, the German Palatines, because Europe was in turmoil back then. There was a lot of turmoil going on. You had the French Revolution coming up. You had all sorts of revolutions, renaissances, religious wars, persecutions. It was a real turbulent time. People were coming and going from Europe. A lot of English people have got immigrant ancestors, you see. I mean, I know I've got a lot of French. And of course we've got this German lot. But I've been pursuing our English Vikings and Anglo-Saxons. But of course, you know, the German lot were Anglo-Saxons in the end as well. Cedric, he's one of the one I've got right back to. Germanic Saxon. Anyway, I'm going to turn off for a minute. We're at Ebbor Gorge, and I'm just deciding what routes to take. We're coming up to the viewing area over the gorge, which I have videoed quite a few times and taken photos. Just got to be careful not to go near the edge, Sheila, because you have been slipping quite a lot lately. Yeah, you've got your slippy boots on. There we are, cliff edge ahead, fire risk. Please be vigilant. So we won't get right to the edge. I usually go quite close. This is Ebbor Gorge. This is the viewing area. And right over there is a Churchill. Right over there is a Churchill little stony monument put there by his granddaughter, which looks over this way. And quite often I usually take photos over here. It's like a little terrace here where people sit. You can imagine groups of students being brought here, sat down and given a little lecture about Ebbor Gorge, its geology, the ancient prehistoric history with the woolly-mammoths, the sabre-toothed tigers. All that has been located here, and lots of caving systems and things like that. So it always looks a bit bare this time of year. Some of the colour dwindled now out of the trees. I've often stopped here and I brought a hot flask, but I've left it in the car ready for if I needed it later. I might have a hot drink when I get back. But it's certainly gorgeous now. Right in ahead of us, which you won't see, is Glastonbury Tor. Glastonbury Tor's there. I'm just debating whether to do the longer route and go down the steep pathway, and then do another route that I don't often do, where I have to get over a big stile, and then literally skirt the rest of the wood back and eventually pick up the drove. It is a nice day, so I'm very tempted to do that, everyone. So this is Sheila. I'm not quite sure the date. Could be the 20th. Could be the 22nd. I just don't know. I'm not interested. I don't really care what date it is. I've just got to be careful because I've got a habit of slipping. And it is slippery. It's icy, look. So, that'll do, I think. Look at that. Isn't it gorgeous, though? Imagine all the wildlife that lives in there. All the history. I can see there's some people up there. Now, they've just come up a track that, there's quite a few of them, actually. They've just come up a track that I was thinking of going up myself. And I probably will be along there later, walking along that top path, if I decide to go down the steps. Otherwise I can cut my, if I wasn't feeling 100% now, which I'm not, but if I wasn't feeling up to it, I would cut my walk short and climb up the steep track now and then go back and get on the drove. But I'm very tempted to wander in the Ebbor Gorge. Not down there. I haven't done that bit for a long time. I don't know when I'll be doing that again. Oh, do you hear that? Cheddar quarry. Right, I'm going to turn off and take a picture, everyone. Like I say, Glastonbury's just above the top of that tree there. Right, another quick video then. I'm going to go down the track, I've decided. I've got time. I'm half decided whether I should. It's like, shall I or shan't I sort of thing. But it's a nice day, isn't it? I'm glad I wouldn't do it the other way around, put it that way. I would not want to do it in reverse. Because I remember struggling doing it last time. I came up it. I think it was a baking hot day as well. I did it in reverse. And yeah, I remember that. So we're going to, because we're all right for time, because everything seems to be okay, we're going to go down the track, down into the wood here, go through and then make our way up. The other route is, of course, to take a track and climb up now and cut all this out. I see quite a few people on that track. There must be a group of people out, students or walkers, walking groups. And I'll be up there where they're walking now. That's where I'll be walking back in, say, a good hour's time. But I've got to go down. I've got to be very careful going down. It is a long way down and it is steep. It is a defined path. I can hear some agricultural machinery at work somewhere. Could be woodmen. Seen a couple of robins earlier. Right, so that's saying goodbye to the high risk area. You just have to be careful when you're there, like don't let your 3-year-old jump off the top. The sort of things that you have to be careful of. Especially a lot of people go to places don't always realise. And imagine your 3-year-old running off in advance. Right, over in a minute. Speak in a minute.